This is the story about the mines and the town of Wonder, Nevada. This old mine is located about 55 miles east of present-day Fallon. It was in 1906 that prospector Thomas Stroud went into these hills and located the Lost Claim and the Jackpot Claim. On his second trip in, he was followed by a few other curious prospectors, and together, these guys grouped a land package, and within a few short months, it was discovered that all of these claims had large quantities of high-grade ore, and so mining commenced. Samples from the Wonder Mountain claim had assays of $1,200 per ton. It didn't take very long for things to get rolling. In fact, within a few months' time, a town was being built and had 5 hotels, 6 general stores, 2 banks, a couple of lumber yards that could hardly keep up with demand, about a dozen saloons, and almost every other business you can imagine. Population soon reached about 1,400 residents. By the end of that first year, there was also a post office and a stage service that ran to Fallon and nearby Fairview. Some prominent Tonopah mining men visited the mine and were astounded. As one of the men said, "It would not surprise me to learn that over 1,000 head of horses are on the road between Fallon and the town of Wonder, hauling freight and passengers and supplies each day." At its peak of operations, there were over 200 men working in the Wonder mine and several hundred more working at some of the smaller mines. The gold and silver veins around the Wonder deposit consisted mostly of quartz, which were deeply oxidized, and these factors made the Wonder veins more economical to mine. The Wonder mine had multiple drifts going off the main shaft down to a 700-foot level. Because of mining in an oxidized deposit, large 8x8 timbers were required to be used to timber the shaft. There was very little water around, so they ran a water line for 10 miles north to a place called Horse Creek. This water line was very well engineered, as it was installed with multiple connectors so sediment could be cleaned from the pipe. This water line delivered 185,000 gallons of water every day to the mine and town. The water was held in a 100,000-gallon water tank located on a hill above the mine. Mining was going good and profitable, so in 1913 the mine was taken over by some big-time investors who built a 200-stamp and cyanide mill. Of course, this mill would need electricity, and so a transmission power line was built from Bishop, California, all the way to the mine site. This power line was 180 miles long and at the time was the longest line in the world. By now the mine and mill were completely equipped with the most modern, up-to-date electrical-driven machinery available, and production commenced, which eventually yielded over $6 million worth of gold and silver bullion. Around the same time in 1913, there were mentions of high milling costs due to lack of a rail link, so the area was surveyed out for a rail line. However, there never was a train rail built to the town, so ore had to be transported 80 miles to the nearest rail line, and these costs were high. The production of silver from the mine gradually decreased from 1915 to 1919 due to the depletion of the ore reserves and the necessity for treating ore of lower silver content. For some time, the higher price of silver offset the increased production costs and permitted this lower grade ore to be worked at a profit. However, by 1919, both the mine and mill closed. People left, and by 1924, most of the buildings had been moved to other mining camps or were left to the elements. Very little of the Wonder mine remains today. You can still drive out there and see the old concrete foundations where the mill once stood. There are a few old foundations here and there, from various buildings, that have long since disappeared. I hope you enjoyed this short story about the old mine and town of Wonder, Nevada. Please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you more old lost mine stories.